The All Blacks against the Springboks, for most Kiwi rugby fans, is the ultimate rugby challenge. Up until a few years ago, the two nations had won an equal number of test matches against each other. That's changed of late with an All Black domination, but South Africa looked to be a resurgent force this year under new coach Jake White. Well, Jade Stadium in Christchurch, where the All Blacks haven't lost for 6 years, is tonight's venue. And it's fair to say that it's a cool night in the major city in the South Island of New Zealand. It has been a beautiful day in the Garden City, but now it's a cold, still night with some dew lying on the playing surface. The Tri-Nations Trophy, well, that's part of what's on offer here tonight in front of a crowd. Well, they were worried earlier in the week that it wouldn't be a capacity crowd. There are still a few gaps, but the crowd is pouring into this wonderful stadium, Jade Stadium in Christchurch. An opportunity too to welcome our worldwide audience, firstly to our friends of course in South Africa watching through Supersport Mnet, and also in Australia, Europe, North America, Asia and the Pacific Islands. Some real interest in this Tri-Nations Test match tonight, the second Tri-Nations Test of the season after the All Blacks beat the Wallabies last week in Wellington. Well, Murray Mexted is with me in the commentary, and there's some great expectation of this, Murray. People really don't know what to expect from the Springboks.
No, they don't indeed. In fact, these two teams are traditional rivals, and history will tell you they are the two most successful international rugby sides of all time. And for so long, you know, they've had similar styles in some respects, very abrasive, direct approaches, but I think the styles are slightly different now, and this Springbok team we see is taking it forward very aggressively. They have an aggressive defensive line, they have aggressive attacking line. The All Blacks, on the other hand, are really concentrating on a go-forward ball and a little bit more expansive, in fact, elusive manner of game.
Well, the Springboks to come out very short. The opportunity to go sideline. Ian Smith is there tonight, and for our worldwide audience, Smithy, conditions at ground level.
They are fantastic, Nisbo. This is a typical winter's night in Christchurch. I'll be honest, it's cold. It ain't no balmy night at Ellis Park in Johannesburg, I promise you that. So the Springbok reserves might feel it. Those on the park won't, they? But underfoot, absolutely sensational. It couldn't be better, and I can't believe that at this time of the year, after Wellington last week, I'm in the same country, Nisbo.
Well, exactly, yes. It was pouring down this time last week, and here come the Springboks, led out by John Schmidt. It's a cold night, so they've got the tracksuits on, which is fair enough, and they make this a fairly long march onto the park here, Jade Stadium.
Your ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to Jade Stadium John Smith and the Springboks.
Well, the Springboks have made one change in their pack from last week, with Albert Vandenberg in for the injured Jerry Brits. A lot of attention, though, will be on Osteront, back in Test rugby this season after a break of 5 years. His vast experience has made a massive difference to the tight five, and he certainly offsets the relative inexperience of tight head prop Eddie Andrews. The one backline change from last week in Gosford comes at halfback, where Coach White has opted for the bigger man, Furi de Preez, over Bola Conradi. De Preez is just 22 years of age, playing in his first test against the All Blacks, and back in Tri-Nations rugby after being dropped at the end of 2001. It is the new top point scorer for South African Test matches, Percy Montgomery. And the reserve bench for the Springboks, and there's some real game breakers there too. Brent Russell in particular, a man you can bring on with 15 or 20 minutes to go, and he can turn a test match. So the Springboks are out there on this cold night. The All Blacks, no track suits for them, as they're being brought out onto the park for the 6th time this season by Tana Umaga.
And now please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Tana Umaga and the All Blacks.
All Black coach Graham Henry dropped something of a bombshell earlier this week when he dropped the informed Carl Heyman and recalled the experienced Greg Somerville. The Canterbury man, though, has history against South Africa. He's always scrum well against them in 8 previous test matches. The other change in the pack from Wellington last week is Jerry Collins in at number 6 for the injured Jono Gibbs. This is the same backline that faced Australia last week, and players like Dan Carter never really got a chance to show their attacking prowess in the wet conditions. This is Carter's first start against the Springboks. He has, of course, the added responsibility of kicking the goals. Justin Marshall, 21st time against the Springboks, and the All Black reserve bench. Sam Tuitupo bracketed with Dan Carter earlier in the week. Carter, though, is fit to play. Tuitupo stays in the reserves.
Ladies and gentlemen, please will you stand for the national anthems of South Africa and New Zealand to be sung by Selby Hlanga and Deborah Waikato.
Dosi sigeleli Afrika, malupagani supondolwayo, yiza imithandazo yethu, Nkosi sigelela thina lusapho lwayo, murela buluga setshaba saesu, ufelice dintwe rimatswengeho, usibuluge, sitshaba sa Yesu, sitshaba sa South Africa, South Africa. Van Jemen, Egypte van ons voor ons bergtes, waar die Franse aan borgje, sounds a call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
So a big night for a couple of All Black forwards. Greg Somerville there in the foreground, and Jerry Collins, and the sides swapping over. Not that there's any wind to speak of, and it looks as though in the first half the All Blacks left to right. So the Springboks will gather just past halfway and face the challenge.
The stage is set. The traditional challenge thrown down and greeted. I couldn't help but notice Percy Montgomery's stare. He was enjoying it.
So there's tonight's referee, Andrew Cole. From Australia, Matt Goddard, Australia, Alain Roland of Ireland, other touch judges, and Brett Bowden of Australia is the television match official. What a sight it makes here. Jade Stadium in Christchurch. The All Blacks have a wonderful record on this park. They haven't lost here in 6 seasons, and it's been a long, long time since South Africa have snared a victory here. It used to be Lancaster Park, nowadays of course Jade Stadium. AJ Fenter, something of a veteran these days, and Percy Montgomery, the only player in the Springbok team who has tasted victory over the All Blacks. Back in 1998 at Athletic Park in Wellington. Marty Holler gets to start again with Richie McCaw still on the injured list. Eddie Andrews, first Tri-Nations Test match for him. Kevin Mialamu got knocked about a bit last week. So all is in readiness for the 64th Test match between these two great rugby rivals. And Andrew Cole signals time on, and Jaco van der Westhuizen boots it off, and it's a pretty rough sort of a kick, snapped up by Holler. And Holler bounces out of a couple of tackles early on. And the All Blacks, well, the ball is out. And it breaks down for the All Blacks. A chance immediately for the Springboks as it's back on the inside to De Villiers. And I think he's there. He is there. Jean De Villiers. 30 seconds gone. The Springboks are in.
What a start. What a start. The kick was skew-whiff, I thought. Gathered by Holler. Driven up well, but there was no one behind the ruck. And the Springboks picked it up, and they always had an overlap. They always looked like they'd score. So it was well driven by Holler. 8 or so forwards over the top. Not sure where Marshall was. In the end, Umaga came in. That created big overlaps. Well, I thought they were just about blown it there, but the momentum, the impetus, magnificent start, South Africa.
Yeah, well, I was looking for Justin Marshall in that replay, and he certainly wasn't involved in the ruck situation, so obviously caught out to the left because he wasn't on the defending side at the right either. A big mistake by the All Blacks after Holler had done well to gather the greasy ball from the kickoff.
Well, what a way to knock the stuffing out of the local crowd, take them out of play. Here's Montgomery with the conversion attempt. He's been in excellent kicking form, and he continues that. He converts the try, scored by Jean De Villiers. And the Springboks are ahead by 7-0 already.
Well, game on big time, actually. I couldn't help but notice coming into the stadium how the locals just assumed the All Blacks were going to win this. Mighty adversaries, of course, the two teams. What a way to start, South Africa.
Carlos Spencer with the restart. Jean De Villiers, the early try, a man who's never played Super 12 rugby. And so his first appearance in New Zealand results in a try after less than a minute. What a sensational start.
To score a try the first time you touch the ball also against the All Blacks. Fantastic thrill. course, he scored one against the Islanders a week or so ago. So New Zealand.
Kevin Mialamu, first throw. He goes short, dragged down by Mailing. And the All Blacks have possession. 10-metre line in the Springboks territory. They're trying to make some progress through the middle, and they're not getting much go forward. In fact, they're going backwards.
Lucky to keep that possession, actually.
Now Marshall, off it goes to Spencer. Montgomery coming forward to meet it. Knocked back on the All Black side by Umaga, but it's been claimed by the Springboks and offside.
13, no.
Well, South Africa, the aggressor, driving Marty Holler back. The All Blacks tried to drive. They got isolated. Bottom line now, South Africa back inside New Zealand territory and their throw. So
Won't be the last
this is
one
how
of
it
those.
happened. He was just isolated at the back. Very, very quick.
Won't be one of the last one we see under for Percy Montgomery. He was not that interested in that at all.
There's one against the throw. So the All Blacks grabbed the first throw by John Smith as Marshall. Straight out goes to Collins. Collins tries to step around the outside. And he's dragged in on the 10-metre line.
No, it's not.
Well, they're probably not quite so keen to drive forward now without support.
Once again, it's Holler.
It's interesting how psychologically this affects you.
Marshall. Change of direction by Spencer. Gets it wide. Carter's well and truly cut off. The All Blacks making no progress so far. Now looking to create a bit of space. Ball shoveled right to Howlett. He puts his boot to it. Montgomery is going to have all the time in the world here. There's not an All Black within Kiwi.
Well, New Zealand trying to free the ball, trying to create space, but they're doing it in a disadvantaged position. They're doing it going backwards, and of course when you have a really aggressive defensive opposition like South Africa, you have to have a lot of support, and there aren't the numbers to support, so they're really playing from a back foot situation. I think Howlett probably did the wise thing to get downfield.
Out already on the eye there with Kevin Mialamu. Not such a good All Black line-out, and in fact it's been lost by Chris Jack.
Turnover.
So the Springboks with the Fru de Preez. Away here for Berger, Scott Berger. And he didn't have much room to move either.
Last feet.
Now de Preez organising Van der Westhuizen. We stood outside the 22, I think. Oh boy, that was a near thing. That was a near thing.
Yes, the measure of the quality of the side, I guess, is how much space you give your opposition. And there won't be much space at this sort of level. So Jack, he got his hands to it. The rebound was almost New Zealand's way. And then finally tidied up, I think. I'm not sure. It might have been John Smith. I think he tidied it up.
Step over. Step over, Green.
So,
Jack quickly gets rid of it this time. Now Spencer running at the line off to Carter. Left the ball behind, dropped it. Being recovered though by Holler, who did a good job grovelling on the deck to get a hold of that. It's still loose from New Zealand though. Taken in by Chris Jack. They're going backwards.
Number 4, last feet.
And Baki's Borta is offside.
well, South Africa right up on the line for sure, and why wouldn't they be? Remember, this is the opening 6 minutes of this game. And of course, that's when the intensity is the greatest. So first time, some go forward ball. The line is flat. That's the hallmark of this new back attacking line of the All Blacks. A flat line, which you need real accuracy to achieve space on the outside. The objective, of course.
Mialamu. Another good throw. This time finds Mailing in the centre of the line-out.
Okay, so big drive tried here. Quality ball it was. Good driving position, good forward platform.
Held in there by Case Muse as they move it up towards the 22-metre line. Now it's released for Marshall. Springboks up really quickly. Kick made, and this will be a 22 dropout. They are absolutely flying up at the All Blacks, who are standing quite flat in this formation.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer made a choice there, made a decision. I'm sure it wasn't premeditated. The defence was so flat he had no option. Probably a little bit overplayed. I think the kick bounced into goal.
Under Westhuizen's kick. Marshall waits.
A good counter-attack situation here.
Rumuli Aina. Almost ran into Holler. The Springboks complaining to the referee that might have been some interference. Spencer has a go. Oh, he hits a DC. He runs into a double tackle, Carlos Spencer. Now it's Holler. Rips it away nicely, Marty Holler. Makes some ground inside Springbok territory. Greg Somerville.
Leave it green, 12,
charging
roll away.
5 metres. Marshall. Oh, there's offside play there, surely. Danny right on the limit as the All Blacks bring it away. Nice pass. Collins flicks it off to Muliaina. Here's Howard in space. Gets it off to Rush. 10 metres short of the line. Desperate rucking from the All Blacks. Umaga looks to free it. Can't do so. Referee's playing an advantage here. And it's offside against the Springboks.
Leave the ball. Leave it. Back you go. Leave the ball.
Good play, New Zealand, finding a little bit of space.
Number 1.
Maalamu breaking the advantage line.
Quicker.
Collins, beautiful pass. So New Zealand would feel pleased with that. I think it was Marty Holler that started that way back. There was 7 phases.
Well, you've got to give some credit to the Springboks too. It was great scrambling defence because they looked as if they'd been stretched fully out wide by first Muliaina, then Howlett cutting back inside, and it looked as if Doug Howlett, when he saw daylight, was away, but they scrambled well, the Springboks.
So this was after Holler's foray. So we saw Dan Carter making the second line break there and just feeding it to support. It was lost there. Well, this man has certainly, well, he's a boy who is really performing like a man, 22 years of age. The thing that impresses me about him is when he's under real pressure, he keeps on kicking the goals. Now, at that age to do so, shows real mental toughness, mental strength.
First test match, first start against the Springboks. He did come on during the World Cup last year. Here's his first kick at goal. It's off the post. And they'll have to clear it, the Springboks. They do so. And it's Big Bakis Botha who boots it out. And he does a pretty good job too.
Just after the awarding of the penalty, I saw Carlos Spencer going off at the touch judge. In the last replay, I think I saw why. There were punches being thrown by a Springbok. I think it was a back. Probably that's why the reason they didn't hurt, but there were punches.
Okay, here we go again then.
Interesting from the back of the line. Chris Jack, I think it was.
Number 7. No, it wasn't. Looks
So
the same.
Gibbs not playing, Jack moving back into that position. Of course, attacking ball from the tail of the line out is always the best ball. If you're close to the opposition goal line, particularly, it opens up the short side if you need it, but also drags the defence on that side. So Jack, high and mighty, makes the ball available, couldn't control it, so they drove. And then, of course, there was a little bit of a barrier there.
Once again, it was Bakis Botha who's getting worked over there by Case Muse. And now Dan Carter will presumably have learned from the last one. Just push this one maybe a little further to the left.
Super still conditions.
Through it goes. First penalty of the night for Dan Carter. But the Springboks still lead by 7-3.
Well, possession and territory in New Zealand's favour significantly. 75-78%. But wow, the 7-point start, South Africa. What a team to have a 7-point start.
Jake White said that he really wanted a good start in this test match. He surely's got it. Ball bounces off Marshall straight into the arms of Rokapelko.
Onside.
And the All Blacks have it. It was Clayton Polser who was flying up. Once again, the Springboks coming up very, very quickly. Montgomery hoisting high. Muliaina comfortably under that, takes it and heads off. Marshall. Ball left behind, it was knocked forward. Here's Chris Jack, who had a storming game around the field last week. Pops it back for Marshall. It's a bit untidy. Now they get it out wide for Rocket Thoko in space. Just managed to clip the ankles. There's Jack there again. The All Blacks getting into the rhythm of this game pretty quickly now. Spencer, boy, how far offside are they? The referee's got them again. It's almost as if they don't really care.
Number 10.
No, I think that's part of the psychological pressure that they want to apply. They know that the danger is wide in this All Black team. They know that the All Blacks have got good condition and want to spread it wide, and they're just getting up in numbers, applying pressure. But, well, certainly in front that occasion. Well, did you see that great tackle? Wonderful tackle, wasn't it, by Skalkberger? So that's where the penalty was. Chris Jack, he's a big man to be able to move on his feet with such agility, looking for someone to pass to a couple of times. Marshall clearing, and this is where Rocket Thoko went through. Now have a look at Skalkberger here. This is the new wonder boy, and he's certainly playing like it. Incredible work rate, this young man. That's what I like about him. People talk about his skills, I like his work rate.
Well, one thing Jake White won't be happy with was the kick through from Percy Montgomery there that was marked by Muliaina way too deep, and it gave the counter-attacking opportunity. The Springbok coach will have warned against that for sure.
Kick of about 45 metres here for Carter. Struck that one beautifully. Second penalty goal for Carter. And it's down to 1 point.
Well, Percy Montgomery back on the scene, playing in the Northern Hemisphere, and now, of course, the South African policy to select players irrespective of where they are, quite contrary to Australia and New Zealand.
Another kick-off from front of Westhuizen. Not controlled by Simon Mayling. And the ball bouncing across the touchline. 15 minutes gone.
Number up.
Berger goes high. A strong run too, coming from de Villiers, the try scorer.
And Marshall having to tackle the top.
Haven't had much of the ball in the last few minutes. Thunderous defence by Umaga. Now de Vries. Van der Westhuizen goes wide. Oh, good pass. Here's an opportunity. Oh, yeah. Put down. What an opportunity.
Four-man overlap. That's huge in Test match rugby.
Jacques Cronje put it down. Just have a look at the overlap that South Africa have developed. There was a beautiful pass right across the bows of the All Blacks, and just look at the numbers there.
1, 2, 3-man overlap. Rocket Thoko only.
Here comes Xavier Rush.
Roll away 6.
Dragged down.
Leave it.
One of the Springbok players reeling away. It's Van der Westhuizen who's gone for a bit of a wander, and that's a lovely kick. That is a beautiful kick.
Wow, magnificent kick.
The problems for Jaco van der Westhuizen. He's going back slowly, Smithy.
Yeah, he is. He is indeed. He's going to go back into position, this bow, but he is decidedly shaky. In fact, he might just take a bit of time out here.
Well, what a kick from Daniel Carter, the local lad, shades of Mertens. He's a Cantabrian, of course, knows the ground.
Good throw here for John Smith. And a good throw to Vandenberg. He's the
Step over.
most prominent line-out target that the Springboks have.
That's one half. Leave it, Black. Leave it down.
Absolutely flat, stationary ball.
Montgomery. And the clearance made by, well, I guess you could call him a veteran these days. Percy Montgomery, the man who overtook Nas Botha last week as South Africa's greatest point scorer in Test rugby.
Halfback.
The All Blacks have bounced back from that early setback. They're dominating both position and territory 2-1. Given me Alamu. Again, it's Jack. Marshall. Rocker Thoko having a bit of a run.
No holes there.
All Blacks running it to centre field with Kevin Mialamu. Now Rush. Spins out of one. Good burst by Xavier Rush. Now it's with Mailing. Springbok defence is very solid. Here's Rush again. High work rate in this first half from Xavier Rush. Now Marshall has a dab. Frees it up nicely for Holler. Referee's got them again. They're offside play. Marshall first receiver.
Roll away too.
And
Don't take him out on the side.
Well, they worked for it. They worked for that penalty. They deserved it on 2 occasions, I think. But New Zealand applying the pick and go, and the intention, of course, is to create go-forward ball. And with go-forward ball, it's easier to use this flat line attack and get the ball wide to the outside.
Be positive. You said you were going to be
That's the
positive.
concept. South Africa up on the line, of course, and when you're stepping backwards, sometimes you're a little bit late. So the ball just set up, and each time taken forward. Marshall took advantage of the difficult situation he had by leaning through the tackle to put Holler away.
Well, the man getting the attention was the culprit there. He's had a big start. Berger made 2 or 3 very big hits.
Well, the intensity for a young man that he has, it's wonderful. It'll be interesting to see if he's still got it 79 minutes into the game. This test match rugby, of course, is that much faster and that much harder.
a little bit of Vaseline to the eye of Jerry Collins. Looks like he's had a poke in the eye. In the meantime, Carter lines up his 4th penalty attempt of the evening. Successful so far with 2. And this kick to give the All Blacks the lead for the first time. Three penalty goals from Dan Carter as we come up to halfway through the first spell. The All Blacks lead by 9-7.
But yet to score a try. And when I say yet to score a try, one thinks it's almost inevitable that this team will score a try, because that's what they're about. Although the honours in that direction are certainly South Africa's, although New Zealand, with territory and possession running in the 70s.
Kickoff goes down as far as Marshall. Off to Rocker Thoko. Good swarming defence though by the Springboks. Now Spencer, he had to get rid of it quickly. And the All Blacks playing around with it near their own line. And it was knocked on by the All Blacks.
Well, I mean, I think Carlos realised there was space wide. I reckon he did the right thing, but the backs weren't quite deep enough, and therefore they were under pressure. Marty Holler maybe in the way a little bit there.
Crouch and hold.
Geez, that intercept had been pulled off. That would have been a sensational blow by South Africa.
Off the back goes Cronje. Driven down by Holler. Good tackle. Ball loose. All Blacks might be able to get this. Yes, they have. It was Mailing who got it freed away by Collins to Umaga. There's Holler there again. First man to the ball just about every time, Marty Holler. And Marshall clears it away down as far as Montgomery. Again, the high hoist by Montgomery. De Villiers leading the charge through after it. Ball knocked down.
Oh, that's all right.
And no advantage from the knock on.
By Green, back scrum.
Well, the whole thing started from an attacking scrum from South Africa there. Well, it was knocked back cleanly. And that was called a knock on. I think it was knocked back, actually.
Half back to Preez. The Black scrum looks pretty solid as Rush.
Leave it onside.
Now Marshall. Uliaina. Big defence again.
Well, there was no gap, really. It had to be moved one more, I think.
AJ Fenter is in number 7. First glance, AJ Fenter and Skog Burger look pretty much the same.
Surprisingly enough, Montgomery left that ball. Obviously he was wanting to throw, but it looked on the television anyway like he could have caught it before it went out.
You might have heard some footsteps, Murray.
John Smith. Water. Good throw that time by John Smith. All Black getting stuck on the bottom, knows all about it. That was Collins. Stolen away though. And Jack almost up to the 22. Now Collins bounces back pretty quickly. Sets it nicely for Marshall, running across field, looking to lure some Springboks with him. They didn't buy it though. Now he goes again, Marshall, off to Spencer. That's not a good kick, that's gone straight up. Ball bounces back, Spencer's got it back. It was in general play, so it's okay. Now Marshall, and he's handed the ball off to Cronje.
Oh, sent over again.
Now the All Blacks have it back. Boy, mistakes all over the place so far. And this time the penalty against the All Blacks. Justin Marshall holding the ball in.
Well, he didn't have the support quick enough, really. I think Somerville got to him, but needed some help. There were 2 or 3 Springboks. Well, Carlos Spencer. Some may say sensational anticipation from a miss kick. I was watching, you know, he kicked the ball and he ran past the kick. Have a look at this. He saw it was bad, so he just kept going past it, just in case it bounced off the head. Oh, yes, here I am. I'll take it. Thank you.
Step over, Black.
He also ran past because the Springboks, when they've been under the high ball, have tended to try and bat it back to a supporting player. So I think Spencer should get a bit of credit for reading that.
Hold it. Step over, Black, in the middle. Right through.
23 minutes gone, first half. Smith.
Good contest.
Vandenberg takes it in. Now it's a Berger. All Black 10-metre line. Ball lost by the Springboks.
Mate, take it easy.
So South Africa employing a shorter line out. They dropped a couple of players off. One of them was Berger to come through. It was a good contest. So they're using this young man to take it up as well. Big space on the short side, New Zealand. Yes.
Well, there goes Marshall. He's got Howlett with him. And he's dropped it.
Well, it was a simple 8-9, and it worked well. Marshall giving it to Howlett with space on the outside, and I think Howlett could sense it. Took his eye off the ball. He knew he was out flanking his winger. Well, those are the mistakes that
Crouch and hold.
shouldn't be made, I guess.
Great opportunity to have a look on this first half on this near side of Os Durant and Greg Somerville. A lot of discussion about Somerville coming into this test team ahead of Carl Heyman, who's performed so well this year. Preez, oh, big gap. Opens up now. Can he find some support? Little kick and chase. He'll have to do it himself. Now he gets some support from Venter and Cronje.
Magnificent. What a try, because it came from set play. Durant did the business up front. The pressure on Somerville. The scrum lifted. The ball just sat there. And Preez broke, and he broke free, and he had support. New Zealand defence not getting back to it. And in the end, a clear overlap. Have a little look. It's only Jerry Collins coming back. Couldn't make it. Picked up. Was that Berger, I think, or Fenter? They look so similar. And there was space and numbers. Well, what a beautifully executed try. You've got to say, well, he might have been shielded a little bit, but even so, it looked pretty good to him. Missed kick, and they still cleaned up. That was Fenter. And another player to burn. So defence on the short side wanting. New Zealand. Great attack, South Africa. Congratulations. 2 great tries.
Another player in his first test against the All Blacks, Jacques Cronje, gets the second try. Springboks back in front, 12 points to 9. Montgomery from the touchline. Looks pretty good again. Another good kick. 2 out of 2 for Percy Montgomery. He converts the try scored by Jacques Cronje. And the Springboks ahead by 14 points to 9. And this was, well, bizarre, really. Just ducked his head and ran straight through. And then all three loose forwards here, Fenter, Cronje, and pointing the way is Berger. So the kickoff. Claimed by AJ Fenter. Another player who's made something of a comeback into the Springboks this year. And they've gone back to some experienced players, and it seems to be working out.
Well, both teams have too. I mean, I see the New Zealand team looking at the average ages of the forward pack significantly different than it has been the last couple of years. And South Africa, of course, Jake White bringing Durant back into the fray. Got to have that maturity, particularly in the front row. In occasions like this, here's New Zealand dominating play, South Africa scoring the tries.
Mialamu to Jack, recurring theme. Spencer gets it across. Umanga. Marshall gets it off to Collins. He's being well marked. All Blacks keep it going to the left. Rocker Thoko bounces out of Montgomery's tackle twice, but he put a foot in touch.
Just going back to that try that the Springboks scored, the post-mortem will come way back at scrum time when it collapsed on the side of Case Muse and Eddie Andrews, and 3 or 4 All Blacks, had the opportunity to pick that ball up, but someone was screaming offside. Everyone left it alone, and that's where the All Blacks were exposed with Howlett in field.
Deep throw, well done. But the pass was no good. Dropped by Barry. All Blacks have a chance with Howlett. Tries to hand his man off. Now Umanga. Back to Spencer. Carter. Big defence. No, he's got him for a high tackle. Back for Somerville. Now Spencer. Nicely read though by Van der Westhuizen. And no advantage. So back we go for yet another penalty. This time the call was a head high on Dan Carter.
High tackle.
Well, it's great aggressive defence by South Africa. New Zealand still trying to move the ball laterally, because it's lateral attack at the moment. Of course, the intention is to do that as long as you can get it wide where there might be space. When I say might be, that's if you commit all the inside defenders. So that tackle was okay. It was the second one. Well, he's often been called guilty of that, to vet Barry.
Mialamu towards the back. That's where Jack was stationed this time. Now Mialamu back on the inside to Marshall. Now it's Muse on the 22-metre line. All Blacks free it up quickly for Holler. It's support from Somerville. Inside the 22 they go. Now Marshall. It's the call from Muliaina, but plenty of defence on the blind side, the Springboks, and they cut the All Blacks down. And penalties coming thick and fast. What's the call now? 7-2.
Too many, all right? You're taking the fine line, you're getting it wrong too often. You've got to be a bit smarter about it. No more number 6.
Well, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Well, I thought the whole thing was clever by New Zealand, the way they applied the pressure. Now have a look at the scrum here. So it breaks up, in fact. It breaks up. And then Marshall was shielded from the ball, and Dupree came through the centre, missed kick. Only one loosie back there, that was Collins, but 3 South African loose forwards. Of course, they were running onto the ball from the scrum because the All Black packs sort of drifted to the left, not drifted, it sort of spun to the left, which took out of play Holler for sure.
So 10 minutes out from half-time. Carter with yet another attempt at penalty goal. He's done it again. 4 penalty goals tonight, but the Springboks still ahead. They've scored the tries, remember. It's 14-12.
good thing from an All Black point of view, if you're looking at it parochially, is that every time they get down within striking range, they are converting. South Africa have to be very careful of the Carter boot, repeat infringing from Berger in particular, just presenting opportunities to keep the All Blacks nice and close.
Once again, Brayton Polser rushing up for the Springboks, but it's controlled by Mailing.
Well, it's an interesting ploy, Nisbo, where they're kicking it long to the 22 and having their fastest guy attacking the player who catches the ball. Okay, big drive starting New Zealand. Collins has got it at the back.
Leave it. Back around. Back around. No, that's all right.
Making a bit of progress here.
Leave his head.
Well, I think it's a good idea, actually.
Leave it 6.
And 20 kg advantage South Africa in this area, but it's the body positions that is important.
Marshall drags it out, bangs it off downfield. Cronje waited back, and Montgomery will take the safe option. Again, dangerously close to standing outside the 22, and Marty Holler's making that point.
Foot was well over the line.
I think it was, yeah.
Well, his foot was right on the line.
Looks like we might have an injury break here. One of the Springbok forwards has gone down. So an opportunity for a regroup. 8 minutes out from half-time. Plenty for both teams to discuss. The Springboks haven't spent much time inside the All Black 22, but when they've been there, they've made it count.
Well, yeah, they've only been in there a couple of times. I mean, territory and possession, they're way, way behind, but talk about taking their opportunities. They have done that effectively. 2 exciting tries, 2 good tries. Well, the intrigue of this match is tremendous. The ebb and flow of fortunes, and New Zealand only keeping in touch through the penalties of Carter.
Collins, the line-out option, he's thrown it away. Straight into the arms of Skulk Berger. Well anticipated. Now the Springboks through their back division. They look pretty good out here too on occasions. All Blacks being forced to make some tackles now. Dupree, little kick through, but nobody chasing it.
Holding Black.
So Muliaina sends it off downfield. Under Westhuizen, who's played a good deal of his rugby back at fullback.
Come back.
He gets back. Marshall. He drags it back inside the 22, hands it off to Umaga. Here comes a counter-attack. Umaga, and the pass is dropped by Rush. And now a chance of a counter-attack from the Springboks. Raki's border, neglecting the players to his right. Now it continues to go to the right, and Berger can't drag it in. Had he done so, the All Blacks were in a bit of strife. No, it's Fenter.
They look alike, though, very alike. Well, so Umaga getting a chance. First time he's had some space. This pass, difficult, I guess, by Rush. And this is the end of it. They had numbers there too, South Africa. Another try was on.
Drum goes down, but the referee decides to carry on anyway. Marshall turns it back to Rush. Now Spencer. Lobbing it nicely. De Villiers, well done. Had to grab that. Frees it up to Montgomery. Could be a dangerous attacking force from the back. Montgomery got it off to DeVette Barry. And the Springboks set it on the All Black 10-metre line. Now De Villiers easily passed. Grab from behind, but Berger still has it. The Springboks with Dupree. And they could be in again. Let's see what the referee says. And I think they've probably got there, but he wants to check with the TMO, and so Brett Bowden will have to make the call. But I think Furi Dupree has picked up another try.
Oh no, they definitely got there. And once again, South Africa running it at New Zealand's line, putting the New Zealand defensive line under pressure. But this was a good try. All in the same corner, 3 out of 3. So
This will angle will tell us. Watch that left. Yeah, no problems. No problems. Kevin Mialamu's the man whose foot goes into touch, but it's the ball carrier we're looking at. And that's fair enough.
Well, the first run was a great one from Percy Montgomery, but the crucial tackle was missed by Greg Somerville. Marius Joubert getting on the outside of him.
So Furi Dupriya comes up with a try. It's all of the new boys getting on the board tonight. De Villiers, Cronje, and now Dupriya. 3 tries to 0, and the All Blacks have plenty of thinking to do. They've all been scored deep in this left-hand corner, and this is where it all started. The veteran started it. The vet Barry made a good charge, and then they brought it back same way, and De Villiers made a big charge, and once again it was Berger, and that's the best try of all. Montgomery's kick is a beauty. 3 converted tries, 21 points to 12.
Well, it was a great try, wasn't it? And it was all started by Montgomery. Back in the Republic, of course, there are lots of people that criticised Montgomery, but he spotted the situation there where there was space. Umunga came up by himself. There was no one else in defence. And so they got the go forward, and then it was just a matter of support play. Everybody was running onto the ball, of course. Great try.
So 4 minutes out from half-time, and the try scorer, Furi Dupriya, puts it into touch. What a wonderful first half from the Springboks. They've cashed in when they've had the opportunities. There haven't been many of them.
Straight line.
Their first really big test of the season. They've remained unbeaten to this point. 21 to 12 they lead as the All Blacks bring it up again through Holler, running a wee bit high.
Onside.
Marshall looks to probe up the middle. Finally taken by Borta. Lays it back.
Obstruction.
And some obstruction by the All Blacks.
Obstruction.
Well, I'm just looking at the clock. 3 minutes to go for half-time. New Zealand wanting to score a try desperately. I think the psychological advantage of failing to score a try, the psychological advantage to South Africa would be huge at half-time. If they were 3 tries to 0 up, it would give them great confidence going into the second half. Well, they haven't beaten this New Zealand side since 1990 at Ellis Park. 2000 at Ellis Park, 1990. I can't remember that long ago.
Albert Vandenberg brought into the team the injury to Jerry Brits. Rokethoko goes back. Again, it's Polsa roaring through. Rokethoko, they're well conscious of the need to cut him down. Marshall off to Spencer. Montgomery in good position once more. And his kick is into touch on the full. Hasn't made too many errors in the first half, Percy Montgomery. Two minutes to go, half-time looming. Another one against the throw. Wonderful trio of loose forwards for the Springboks. Van der Vestes and hauls it in. No real depth on his kick. Bolter tries to drag it down, knocks it on in the process. Complaining that he's being held, I think. But what the Springboks have done effectively here, Murray, is take the crowd out of the equation. They did that after 30 seconds.
Well, it was a miraculous start, wasn't it? It's the only way to play away from home in a rather partisan area of New Zealand.
Work the angles. Straight.
Announce your presence and then consolidate it with 2 more magnificent tries.
Engage.
Decent battle going on this side as Holler gets it off. Marshall under pressure, knocked it back. Now Rokethoko. Polsa goes back to grab him.
No.
Now it's there for Marshall. Spencer, again hoisting high, but no pressure on the catcher of the ball whatsoever. Montgomery's kick, and it's all so easy.
It seems that way.
Rather an aimless kick.
Well, it's pretty interesting, really. The whole of the South African backline is coming up in defence, even the wingers coming up. In other words, they're not worried about whether Spencer kicks or not.
No, there goes the half-time hooter, and referee Andrew Cole says that'll do it. First 40 minutes, the crowd are somewhat stunned. They've seen South Africa score 3 tries to 0 in the first half here at Jade Stadium and lead by 21-12.
Stunned they may be, the crowd, but so is the All Black team. They have been under pressure right from the start. Marshall particularly under close scrutiny, and they've had the Harriers, haven't they, South Africa? The Harriers coming through, Skalkberger and H.A. Fenter. Any little mistake, any bounce ball, they've closed it down and they've attacked. They've tried to use it. They haven't been happy just to take the territory. They've used it, and they've scored 3 magnificent tries, and in fact they've found New Zealand's defence wanting on several occasions. Well, what a moment, what a finish to the first half.
De Villiers, Cronje and Preez the try scorers. The Springboks lead at the break by 9.